Hey there, it's Chris. Welcome back to the next part of the Ultima project here, where last time you see we hardened all the stuff. We went and did the demonic side of things. We got those horns done. We got the main body of the miter done. And this time we're going to go more towards the angelic side of things with those wings that come out. As long as the ear guard or ear whatever things those are called. I think I finally got the word miter down since last time, but I'm not sure what those ear guards are. We're going to get those two areas done this time. But first, we need to add some structure because those wings aren't going to hold themselves up. So as you can see, kind of in between sessions, we went and kind of bent myself a little bit of the 16 gauge wire there, and that's going to wind up each side kind of then being attached to the head on the side, because otherwise these feathers are going to crumble off into nothing if we don't do anything about that. So these absolutely need structure. So you can see I'm just kind of locating where we need to stick the wire here and get my trusty drill with the 16th size drill bit, or 1/16 drill bit, and doing a little surgery. Oop. That goes right in there. And just like that, bim bam boom, poof, it goes in. I see it's not exactly shaped correctly, but at least we're in. We need a little more of an arc on that. It's a little bit flat, so we can play with that. That's not a problem. We got the main part. As long as it fits in the head, that's the important part. So now we just need to do tweaking. And hopefully we do tweaking on camera, because it's really embarrassing we do this stuff off camera. Camera will always be my nemesis during any of these kind of video sessions. It's just, it is what it is sometimes. It just is what it is. We try. And even with all the editing and stuff I'm doing on these things, we still try. But hey, there we go. Look at that. It's beautiful. Only one problem. That's one side. We gotta do the other side too. So let's go ahead and yep, kind of see where it is there. Do the equivalent. Whoop, right over there. Ah, I'm dropping it. No. And as usual, you start going straight in just to give the bit something to kind of hold against. Then once you've just kind of barely get started, then you can twist the whole drill up and go down the angle you want to go into. So, as I said, we got the first one in. Just need to go and get the second guy, tweak it a little bit. Which, yeah, we can jump cut to that. No reason not to jump cut to that. Why not? Speed things up a little bit. And there we go. We're close. Still a little bit of pushing and pulling, but there we are. Hey, she's gorgeous. All right, so with those in place, now we're going to go and do these ear guards. We're going to finish off this miter here, or helmet. I still think the word is miter. I still haven't looked it up. It's been all week. If I'm done now, I'm not going to do it. And as usual, we're going to glue our first kind of layer of clay on here, so that when we add the subsequent layers on, it now has something to stick to. So you can see we changed this image on the side, so you can actually see what we're doing. And yeah, now it's just kind of add clay onto here. First part is just keep adding clay until it kind of gets in there and feels right. And then once we have enough mass of clay on, then we start actually detailing out. But it's not a very large area. Oh, my computer it's trying. That's not on your end, that's on my end. If you can't tell, I'm dubbing over this right now. This is not a live broadcast, and my laptop is trying real hard sometimes. Oh, it's trying to run both two types of software. It's trying to do. It's trying to run my video editing software and OBS at the same time, and it has to work for it sometimes. But no, you can already see we already have kind of the general form going. So now it's just a matter of tweaking it until it starts to feel right. It needs still a little more mass, but it's already starting to look pretty okay. We've only done like a minute's worth of time on this. It's already starting to look kind of okay. Now, I could have done this first and then drilled the holes after, but the reason I drilled the holes first, as you can see kind of down there's in there, is sometimes the drill bit likes to kind of wander a little bit. If it doesn't go in right away, it can kind of scratch the surface of whatever. And so if that happened while drilling the holes for the wings there, kind of going in, at least this will hide any problem that could have occurred from that. So they did wind up going in nice and easy. Ultimately, I didn't have to drill that first, but it saves some frustration in case the drill bit wanted to wander a little bit. Because if you're going over uneven surfaces, that can definitely happen sometimes. So a little bit of one of those order of operations kind of situations. Now we're kind of getting that little ball area that comes out in the front and kind of comes just below the eye there. I'm going to keep that looking as its own kind of little separate area, just like that. Well, kind of like it's still a work in progress, but kind of like that. And we're still adding clay, adding clay, adding clay. This time we're trying to be a little more careful as we add it. We don't want to keep adding too much. I'm trying to keep things in reason each time I put a piece on, so we're not I don't want to have to take too much off or push too many things around during the process of this. So, and being as the wire is already in place, we can kind of push this thing down around the wire with no problems because we can still pull that right out afterwards. So that is easy peasy. And of course, because it's like a metal piece, we want to have a good kind of sharp edge on the bottom. So we're still trimming, and trying to make it look good. At this point, we're no longer trimming. Now we're kind of giving that little detail on the side, a little kind of crimped edge, which helps make it feel a little more real. And it ties. You can see it ties into the miter work we have, or the headgear work, or whatever we've done earlier. So we want to tie those lines in so they continue through. So it looks like this was all done in one session rather than 2 separate hardenings to get this done. And we just need a little bit more over that wire to kind of bring it in a little more gradually than we had. Except I don't have glue all the way up there, so I can only really stick this to the clay that I have at the moment. So it's a little funky playing with that when you start going up beyond the scope of what was already glued in, but it's not that big a piece and it works out pretty well. And as you can see, we're already now adding those little vertical line details in. So we're definitely making progress. Camera's going to get into focus whenever it feels like it, but that's a whole separate issue. That's always the eternal struggle there, is getting the camera to do what I want it to do. Which I have no say in the matter, because it has no buttons. Someday I might get a new camera. We'll find out. Someday. Not there yet. But as I had said in previous sessions before, I'd gotten this camera so I could do jury duty back when we couldn't meet in person during the COVID years. So if this is good enough for jury duty, it's good enough for right now, kind of, most of the time. But we're just about there. It's a little kind of roundish right now, so we need to, yeah, give you a little more sharper form. I know we just put those lines in, but we can re-put those lines in. We got to get that a little bit better form going here. There we go. And time to, now that we've retouched up the form, we got to put in all the line work again. So let's redo that. It only takes a few seconds, so that's not a problem. But as we do one side, we need to do the other. So let's speed through this. Well, I hope you enjoyed watching half that being done off camera, but we got it done in the end. And if you think the music sounds familiar to Final Fantasy XII, it kind of does, because the world of Final Fantasy Tactics and the world of Final Fantasy XII both take place in Ivalice, which is canonically the same environment for both of them. So the music as such also kind of sounds familiar between the two. So we did that. We go ahead, we harden everything, so now this is hardened. And it is time for the angelic wing feather time. So, whoop, dropping stuff all over the place. So as we left off, that's where we left off last time. Now, between sessions, we realized we need to structure out each of these feathers, or we're going to run into problems. They're going to snap off, and they're just not going to be able to hold themselves up. You see, they go out quite a ways, too. They're not very noticeable because they're painted white, and it kind of gets drowned out by a lot of the other elements on here. But they do have some size to them, and if we don't structure them, they're going to break off. So let's go ahead and show you what I did on the other side here. So here are some of the, I don't know what type of wire this is. It is the thinnest stuff possible. It's probably for making wreaths and stuff like that. We're going to take out a pretty healthy chunk, because if we have extra, we can always cut more. We can always cut the extra off in the end. And all we're doing is just basically wrapping around, wrapping around, wrapping around. While trying not to poke my fingers with this, because it is very easy to poke your fingers with this stuff. So now we have enough in there kind of holding itself. We bring out, we bring a loop over. We bring the loop right back. Kind of crimp it down a little bit. Ultimately, we will crimp this once everything is done. We're going to crimp it at the end with a pair of pliers, which I believe I do off camera. But yeah, no, I just kind of keep repeating this process until we have all 5 of the feathers on here. Well, I guess it's 4 out of this wire, 1 out of the original wire. Just do one loop, bring it back, wrap it around a couple times, do a loop, bring it back, wrap it around a couple times, and it does its job pretty dang well. I'm not gonna lie, this is a good way to make structure, and when it comes to doing the main wings themselves when I get to those, I am now leaning more towards doing it out of clay, only because I now know that I can structure it in such a way like this, and it gives me more freedom, I feel like, working with clay than it is working on the wood side, so that's now part of the possibilities of what I can do. Alright, so first we're just going to cut off that excess there. We don't need that. We kind of just do a little fine tuning. Kind of respace, kind of fluff everything around, and bam, look at that. Done. It took what, like a minute and a half? We have structure for all the feathers. And that's really all we need on the structure side of things. Now, if you know me, let's just go ahead and lay some of that clay down there. And once again, this is just busy work, so we're going to speed through this part too, once we get to it. Alright, well, that didn't take so long. You see, bam, we have now at least the basic form on here from which we can start building all details. We don't need that left one, we can get rid of that. We only need to show the one side. That's gonna be fine. It's gonna take long enough to do one side. So first we want to get that arc back kind of in here. When we first laid it, we kind of took that arc out, so we want to kind of put that back. And bam, there we go on that front. And yeah, take some of this mass out, because we just threw clay on there. So there's already more clay in some areas on this than we absolutely need in a lot of these areas. So now we just kind of hit the fine tuning phase. Each little thing we do now is going to get us closer to our final look that we want. So first thing I'm going to do is, as you can imagine, we have the main trunk there, winds up being a little bit thicker. And then across the top, if you ever look at like a feather itself, you have the spine that goes down the feather, and then the kind of the bristles come out, or whatever it's called, comes out from there. So we're kind of adding clay to make the spines of these things, and then we go and kind of finagle the rest of the feather as it kind of comes along and in. So this is just the spine of that main trunk area. And we're very kind of carefully trying to put it in without adding too much, because it's very easy to add too much at this scale. It is very easy to add too much at this scale. And although we look really ugly right now, this will come into focus as this goes on. It's just, again, the main body of stuff is done. Now every step is just fine tuning. So even like on this top feather here, we're now adding the spine to that. And then we'll come back and keep refining, keep refining. The first thing we need to do is blend that spine in, and then we kind of refine it. You can already see we're starting to get that feather shape on that. Instantly that compared to now the other ones. You see we have a feather shape going. So again, it doesn't take long to get the basics down. And then again, if you're doing your own types of work on this, you can put as much or as little time as you want into doing any of these individual details to get whatever resolution, whatever kind of fineness you want in the end of any kind of work. So I'm trying to, at this point, I'm still trying to balance making progress versus making things as refined as possible. And it's, for me, it's a big kind of balancing act. I'm not looking for everything to be 100%. This is museum quality finished stuff. I'm trying to do the best that I can in a reasonable amount of time so that I can at least have things coming up and showcasing these projects online. Otherwise, these would take forever. And you've already seen how long some of these projects can take if you've been to my webpage. But now we've seen kind of how one is done, we're going to go and kind of a little more quickly, a little more expediently go through the other feathers as well. But rather than jump cut, sit back and enjoy actual Final Fantasy XII music from Bajura. Alright, well, we're looking a little rough over there, but as we do on the front, we also need to do on the back as well. So here we are kind of fixing up the back a little bit. You can see there's a lot of areas of the wires kind of showing up, so we got to kind of clean those up. Not pushing down too hard because that takes the detail off the front side, so it's It's a little kind of delicate balancing act going on here. But yeah, everything we did on the front side, we now need to redo on the back. And then once all that's done, we do a final kind of fine tuning over everything to actually get it right. So you're kind of trimming off, kind of making sure the shapes are right, trying to get those spines in, adding the bristles. A little more carefully adding the bristles this time, so I did kind of a lousy job on the part you saw on camera there earlier. So I did go back and redo that on the front a little bit to fix it up. It needed it. Sometimes things I do on camera are not great and I need to fix things. It's part of the process. It's amazing what I think is good and I go and rewatch the video and go, ooh, oh no. That's not right. There we are doing just a little more touch-ups on the front. But after some work, it's hardening time. So I have my extremely beat up piece of clay here with lots of holes in it. We're going to go ahead and add our mineral spirits. We're going to take all the fingerprints and stuff off of this. It's funny when it's zoomed in like this, it looks a lot rougher than they actually look when I'm looking at them just being done. Yeah, I call this like the 6-inch problem. If you're looking that close, yes, you can see everything, but the second you stand back and look at it from a reasonable kind of distance, it looks pretty dang good. Also, I'm not sure which one's supposed to be left and right, so that might have been the back of that one that I'm kind of prepping right now. And that didn't take that much. Again, we don't want to push that on because that's going to, we don't want the bristles of the brush to make their own kind of forms. So we just put enough to get it on there. Pop it in the oven, did 4 minutes on one side, about 2 to 2.5 on the other, and done. And here she is with some wings. They slide right in and bam. Now this looks like it's a gigantic headgear thing going on, but we need to put this into perspective a little bit, because right now that's all your eye focuses on. But keep in mind, as we get going, those wings are going to be coming out to like there or beyond. So the impression of that headgear is going to change. But that's where we are right now. And yeah, till next time, enjoy.